Hello, my dear students. Today we are going to talk about famous composers. Before we start, please look at the questions and write your answers to them. What's your favorite style of music? What singers and bands do you enjoy listening? What are your favorite songs? Now, before listening, let's look at some words. Symphony. What is symphony? It's a long piece of music, usually in 4 parts and played by an orchestra. Composer. Who is a composer? A person who writes music, especially as professional occupation. Before watching the video, let's check what do you know about Mozart. Look at the 6 questions and choose correct answer. Pause the video and do the task.
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was an 18th century musician and composer. He was born January 27, 1756, in Salzburg, Austria. Mozart showed special musical talent from a very young age. His father was a well-known violinist and composer, and he taught young Wolfgang to play the harpsichord and the violin by the time he was 5. As soon as he could play, he began composing music. Mozart's sister, Marianne, was musically talented too, and the two children performed together in many places across Europe. They went to Munich, Prague, Paris, The Hague, and London. They played for kings and performed with famous musicians. When he was 8 years old, Mozart wrote his first symphony. When he was 11, Mozart wrote his first opera.
Great! You watched the video, so it's time to show you the correct answers. Number 1. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was born January 27, 1756 in Salzburg. 2. His father was a famous composer. At the age of 5, Mozart could play 2 musical instruments. 4. While Wolfgang was young, his family made several European journeys in which he and Nanelle, his sister, performed as child prodigies around Europe. True. 5. He composed his first symphony when he was 8. 6. Mozart composed his first opera when he was 11. I hope you have a lot of correct answers. Great job! Do you want to relax? Let's listen to the 40th Symphony, which was written by Mozart. Look at the questions. What images are appearing in your mind while listening? What can you associate this melody with? You will listen to the 40th Symphony and please write answers to these questions. I hope you liked the 40th Symphony. Now it's time to move forward. We will listen to the biography of another famous composer. Before listening, let's look at the word deaf. Deaf, problems with hearing, when you can't hear sounds. We are going to watch the biography about Ludwig van Beethoven. He was short, not very handsome. Despite the fact that he had a bad temper, he had many close friends and was well respected by the public. He is regarded as one of the best composers of all the time. While listening to the biography of Ludwig van Beethoven, you will answer these questions. So pause the video Write down the questions into your copybooks and then back here
Ludwig van
again.
Beethoven was a classical pianist and composer in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, and remains one of the most famous and influential composers of all time. Beethoven was born in Bonn, Germany in December of 1770. He was the second of 7 children, but only Beethoven himself and 2 of his younger brothers lived for longer than a year. His father, Johann, and grandfather, Ludwig, were both musicians, and when young Ludwig showed early musical talent, his father hoped that his son would become a famous child musician like Mozart had been. Beginning at age 5, his father had him taught to play the keyboard as well as the violin and the viola. The lessons were hard, and sometimes young Beethoven was pulled from his bed in the night to practice until he cried. He had his first public performance in March of 1778 at age 7, but his childhood performances did not make him famous. Young Beethoven struggled with math and spelling, and so at the age of 10 he left school to study music full-time with a new teacher, Christian Gottlob Neefe, the court organist. Neefe taught Beethoven to play the organ and helped him to create his first compositions, which were published in 1783, when Beethoven was only 12 years old. Beethoven suffered a personal tragedy. He started to go deaf. Even when he could no longer hear at all, Beethoven continued to create some of his best work, including his 9th Symphony, believed by many to be one of the greatest pieces in the history of Western music.
Now it's time to see the correct answers. Number 1. He was born in Bonn in 1770. 2. He was a classical pianist and composer. 3. At the age of 7. 4. Just as he was beginning to find success as a composer, he started to go deaf. 5. His teacher who taught Beethoven to play the organ and helped him to create his first compositions, which were published in 1783 at the age of 12. 6. Symphony No. 9 is considered to be one of the greatest pieces of Western music. I hope you like both the stories about Mozart and Beethoven. What will you tell your friend about these famous composers? Think about it and write answers in your copybook. And it's time for your homework. Find information and write a short report about a famous composer. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.